Hey, hey, boss. Hey, how are you today? It's your girl, Shauna Henry here, aka Sister Sense. Always excited to share some things you can do to work on your money, marketing, and sales goals too, with strategy and intention. So, today I am going to continue to talk to you about how you can pivot as part of the pivot experience over at sistersense.com/PED. I have been sharing some things you can do to avoid the five common mistakes that entrepreneurs make. So I'm going to dig into number four, pivot point number four, which is focusing on practice. Now, of course, before we get there, I'm going to start here and say, hey, 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 feel free to drop into the comment box and say who you are and where you are, what your business is, all that good. And of course, if you're catching me on the replay side, you can always drop into the comment box, hashtag replays rock. So, all right, y'all, let's dig in. Now, as I've mentioned before, when it comes to pivoting, what you've got to do is get clear, get a deep understanding as far as where you are in your business, what you'd like to change, and what are some things that you need to do to start the process, right? So, when it comes to pivoting, I've mentioned before, and I'll mention again, when it's in a state of struggle and lack, real entrepreneurs don't quit, they learn how to pivot, which is a popular business term. Simply put, it means you have to learn when it's time to turn, change direction, and shift to a new strategy. The key is not to get stuck or caught in a rut, but before giving up, make sure you've done all that you can do by digging into the five pivotal pivot points that I am sharing with you. So, understanding what it means to shift, to course correct, to pivot as needed is really what this conversation is all about. And in an effort to help you figure out that next best step, on day number one, we talked about pivot point number one, which was products. And I gave you a few questions to think about there. Then we dove into your pages and people. So, one, two, three, products, pages, and people. Now, number four, let's explore practice. Okay. Do you need more practice? They say, fake it until you make it. And I guess for some, that point rings true. I prefer the phrase practice makes perfect because that's the thing that you really need to do. Too few commit to the act of practicing, and too many give up too soon. So many get lost in shiny objects, hoping to make six figures in one afternoon. Even though this might sound crazy, everyday folks spend like crazy trying to become successful, lazy entrepreneurs. The art of practicing isn't cool anymore, but for most, it never really was because practicing takes time, and online, nobody really wants to spend 10 years to be an overnight success. Real talk. At best, most give it a month or two before they're scrapping old projects in pursuit of something new. And this is the piece that separates the few who actually win at entrepreneurship from the rest. You cannot simply buy your way into acing the entrepreneur test. With every pivot, you must commit time to practice. That's the only way to successfully build and become your best. Can you say, yes, I'm giving myself time to practice and get better at what I'm trying to do? Or are you practicing your craft, your content creation, plus marketing and sales efforts too? So here's the big question for you when it comes to whatever it is that you're trying to do online. Do you find yourself going after that next shiny object, or you are in a space where you keep starting over and over and over and over, and maybe you put a little time into it, a few months or so, but then you go, let me scrap that, start from scratch and do something new. That is the struggle that a lot of entrepreneurs go through, this cycle of spending a lot of money but not enough time to practice their craft, really understand what it takes to market, build that particular business venture, and grow. Okay, so I want you to know that out of all the different things that you can do, other than the great ideas of the businesses that you want to put together, you've got to have substantial products, right? Number one, the heart of it is the products, the services, the offers that you want to put out there. And then having those pages, let's be clear, in addition to the products, you got to have pages on which you can promote and people can actually buy your stuff online. And then those people being able to consistently capture and resonate and conversate with people who fundamentally want the things that you offer and ultimately practice, being able to put into practice, figuring out your best offers, figuring out your best marketing messages, figuring out your best customers, right? Working on your 3 Bs, right? Your best, your base, and your box. And when I say that, I mean those 3 Bs: your customer base, number one, your best offers, number two, and your box of tools, resources, solutions that help you produce the kind of quality experiences you want to offer to your audience. So again, number one, if you don't have it, feel free to go over to sistasense.com/PED to grab the free version of the Pivot ebook, 5 Mistakes Entrepreneurs Make and How to Fix Them. This is day 4. So in the last 4 days, my goal was to explore the first 4. And again, we talked about your products, pages, people, and today practice. I'm going to say practice one more because I really want to sink in, right? What that means. And then we'll talk about pivot point number 5 tomorrow. So let's dig in one more time when it comes to talking about practice. Okay. Now, I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Ooh. Practice. Do you need more practice? They say, fake it until you make it. And I guess for some, that point rings true. I prefer the phrase practice makes perfect because that's the thing you really need to do. Too few commit to the act of practicing, and too many give up too soon. So many get lost in shiny objects, hoping to make 6 figures in one afternoon. Even though this might sound crazy, everyday folks spend like crazy trying to become successful, lazy entrepreneurs. The act of practicing isn't cool anymore. But for most, it never really was because practicing takes time and online. Nobody really wants to spend 10 years to become an overnight success, I guess. At boast, at best, at boast. At best, most give it a month or two before they're scrapping old projects in pursuit of something new. And this is the piece that separates the few who actually win at entrepreneurship from the rest. You cannot simply buy your way into acing the entrepreneur test. With every pivot, you must commit time to practice. That's the only way to successfully build and become your best. Can you say, yes, I am giving myself time to practice and get better at what I'm trying to do? Are you practicing your craft and your content creation plus marketing and sales efforts too? So when it comes to what you want to do, are you practicing your craft and your marketing and your sales efforts? Because too many people are putting a lot of money into trying to build a business, but they never put the time into practicing and perfecting what it means to build that business. So we've talked about a few things that I wanted to share with you today. And if it's okay with you, we'll continue tomorrow with the last recommendation, and that is to plan. I'm going to talk about what it means to work on your plan. And of course, there are a few other things that I want to share as far as the pivot experience, the 5 mistakes entrepreneurs make and how to fix them. So we're going to talk about your plan and even some pots too. Another anecdote that I want to share with you. Okay, but we'll do that tomorrow. Feel free to email sistasense@gmail.com if you have any questions for me, sistasense@gmail.com. And of course, most importantly, when you follow that link below, you can always go to sistasense.com/PED to download the free version of the Pivot ebook. Alrighty, my dears, till tomorrow, take care. Mwah.